Is it working? Ugh, this new YouTube is a nightmare. Hold on. I don't think it's working. YouTube. All right, this should be working, right? Oh, YouTube. Always trying to make new things, and they aren't fixing them before they put them on production. All right. Let me know if you can hear me. Let me know in the comments. I know that there's a bit of a delay, but I've been struggling trying to get this stupid stream up for the last 5 minutes. So give me a thumbs up if you can in the comments if you can hear me talking. All right. Thank you, Frank. Thank you, everybody. So, hey, everybody. This is Gear Talk episode 21. Apologies for the delay. The YouTube gods didn't want me to start on time. I've spent the last 10 minutes here trying to get the YouTube app to work properly. I thought I was doing the right thing by using the web app and doing the streaming and all of that. But for whatever reason, it just didn't want to work today. They have a new beta out, and it just didn't work. So, anyway, welcome to Gear Talk, episode 21. Gear Talk is the show that I do every other week, where I talk about the gear side of skating. Don't talk about the tricks. Don't talk about the events or the news. This is all about skates, gear, wheels, things like that. I got a pretty action-packed show for you tonight. I've got a lot of things that I want to cover. And I actually forgot one in the house, so I'm going to have to run in and get it in a little bit. But until then, thank you all for watching, and let's get started. So first of all, I had some amazing luck. So this week, I got 2 pair of skates that I'd never had before. So I don't know what it was, but people have been emailing me saying, hey, I want to send you some skates. Which has been amazing. Absolutely no pressure. If you have skates, keep your skates. But, you know, I love that people are watching the show and they're, you know, contacting me and saying, hey, I've got skates sitting in the closet. They should be on the wall so that you can talk about them rather than sitting in my closet, which is amazing. So thank you all again so much for contributing. You know, half of these skates on the wall are actually contributions, so it's really cool, and I get to share them with everybody out there. So the first skate that I wanted to talk about is from my friend Casey, who visited a couple weeks ago from Charlotte. He was in town for a bachelor party and drove up and wanted to drop off some skates. And the skates that he brought me are the K2 Backyard Bobs. How awesome is this? So, Backyard Bob, this was a weird one. So, the Backyard Bob is when did this come out? Probably 1997, 98. This came out right around the time that the King 55 came out. And no, wait, these are style points, not backyard Bob. Style points. I'm so confused. They're not my skates, so I don't even know. These are style points. Yeah, style point Bob, not backyard Bob. Style point Bob. So the style point. This was, right after right around the same time as the King 55 came out. These were kind of like the fatties. So if you compare these to, they came out before the 250s. These are the 250s, K2 250s. They came out before these, but it's a very similar look. These are just like the old fatties, They just have a different upper. But this was the first one that wasn't called the fatty. So back in the days, K2 came out with the K2 fatty. That was their first real aggressive. They had the Soul Slide or whatever the heck it was called, but that was their first real aggressive skate. This was the first one that didn't look like the traditional fatty. I don't think there was that much difference, to be honest. This skinned area was a different look. It had this like threading, kind of like a pinstripe sort of thing, which is really cool. But these were really cool. They came with the, I don't know what this is, like a nylon sort of machined grind plate, which was really cool. The H block, I think, was the same as the fatty. It's really just a fatty, but it looks, a little different. And so that was the Style Points Bob. This came out at the same time as the King 55. And I don't have a pair of those, but the King 55 was more like a high top style. It was kind of like a vert skate, where this was like a street skate. I think this one had the replaceable sole plate. That might have been the first that had the replaceable sole plate. Chat room, keep me honest. But I think this was the first replaceable sole plate. Before then, it was just this groove area that you would skate into. And it was fine, but this was a plastic, whereas back in the days, it was more like a leather that was part of the boot. It was really cool. This was the first one that had the replaceable one, though. So yeah, Style Points Bob. I haven't seen these in a long time. I never skated these. These are a size 9, so it's not like they're my size anyway, but very interesting. Again, this was the soft boot technology that K2 was all about. So this was a complete soft boot upper. It was molded to the hard shell around the toe and around the heel, which is where the frame was attached. And the frame, is a one piece. So this frame is part of the sole plate. Had that Teflon injected sole plate, so it made your soles faster. I don't know if there's any scientific backing to that claim, but it definitely felt faster, people said. The frame itself was just part of the whole boot, so this whole under area was part of the frame. Very similar to how the USD Aeons are nowadays, where that whole frame is part of the boot. I think it's a really smart idea. Not for frame companies, obviously, but if you're looking for the optimal frame and not having to worry about UFS, people don't wear through frames that often. And when they do wear through frames, they usually wear through the sole plate around the same time because they're just skating a lot. So replacing the sole plate with the frame makes a lot of sense. Anyway, super happy to have these in my collection. These will go up with my other K2 skates over here. Ugh. So another fun skate that Casey dropped off is one that I never owned, and I don't know that I ever saw in person. They came out probably around the time that I was no, they probably wouldn't have been. Maybe around that time, so like 2000 or so. They are the, where'd they go? Rollerblade canvas. Oh, look at these bad boys. Oh my God. So this is the rollerblade canvas, and boy oh boy, it's like the ugliest skate ever. It's like a rhinoceros's foot, you know what I mean? So first of all, where to begin? So first of all, it's based on, I'll start at the bottom, okay? So the frame. So this is based on the Rhino boot, and the Rhino boot is the same as The Swindler, the same as the CI5, the same as the Dirk. This is the, what is this, the Patron. This is the same bottom shell. So these two kind of probably top shell, but they use the same frame mounting system, which was this big, like, under the skate, you'd use this big crank thing to undo it. This frame is so large, I can't believe it. So this is the Patron, and this was the canvas. The canvas, though, changed everything. So it did have this rocker system. These were like the star axles. The star axles were first seen on the Randy Spicer skate, I think, which was based on the Dirk as well. What's crazy about this, though, is it's a soft boot up top. So this really feels like a shoe. I wonder if the liner comes out. I don't think the liner comes out. No, it's like a soft boot. I wonder if they got sued by K2, and that's why they stopped doing it. Very curious. So it was a soft boot. Had the 45-degree strap, which was nice, but this thing is so beefy. Look at how big that is. What size is this? A 10. So it's not even that big, but it looks like huge. The cuff. So the cuff is a single piece. So this whole thing from top of the cuff down to the sole was all one piece. That's just crazy talk. This whole area was one piece. So this didn't bend. So if you bent forward, if you needed to get down on like a toe roll or something like that, you couldn't. Like your foot would be stuck in with this boot because there was no movement here. It had a little attachment, 2 attachments for crank straps, I guess, which is weird, right? Because why would you need one if you already have a 45-degree strap? Super strange. The craziest thing, look at this logo. So this logo had like the late 90s style Web 2.0 embossed beveled logo to it. So it looked like somebody had, if you are an old Mac fan, the Kai's Power Tools plugin for Photoshop, and you would crank up that emboss and make it look like this puffy thing. I mean, that was, I don't know. I don't know why anybody would do that. But yeah, there you go. So these are the rollerblade canvas. I don't really know what to say about this. They are probably the ugliest skates I have in my collection. I would be very curious if anybody in the comments had a pair of these and loved them, because these things are not for me. But I am super stoked to have them in my collection. And where did they come from? Right here. All right, and then finally, let me get this guy's name, because I was talking with him and I don't remember his name. Let me get his name real quick. I'm going to check it out on the email. So I don't know how to pronounce his name. I think it's Gislain, G-H-I-S-L-A-I-N. He is from Europe and didn't. I don't know how to pronounce his name, so I apologize. If it's Gislain, I think I'm doing it right, but I don't know. He reached out to me last week and said, "Hey, I have a pair of skates that I think you would love. They don't fit me. I found them, and they are amazing skates, and I think you would like them. Can I send them to you?" And I said, sure. Let me cover shipping. And he said, no. I'll just send them to you because I love the show. And I said, you're amazing. Like, that's great. Absolutely. I don't expect you to pay for shipping. So if you have cool skates that you want to send me, please let me know, and I would be more than happy to pay for shipping or trade you for them. I love collecting this stuff. But yeah, so he sent me these skates, and they showed up today. So I barely even cracked them open. I actually just opened the box before I got here. But check these out. Oh my God. Look at these babies. So these are the, I don't know what year, very recent it feels like, K2 Fatty Pro UFS. So these things are incredible looking. Like, they look so pretty. They are brand new, absolutely brand new. They still have the tags on them. These are a size 42, which is what, a size 9. These are crazy. So these are the Fatty as a UFS boot. And oh my goodness, they're just beautiful. So they have where do I begin? They have the classic style of the Fatty that I absolutely love. You know, I never skated them, but I love the style. I love the two-tone. I love the heel and the toe being different than the middle. They've got the soft boot technology, you know, the K2 patent. Super cozy and comfy up here. They got the 45-degree strap that wraps over. They've got the movable cuff, which is better than that canvas that I had. The replaceable backslide plate, which slides in, and there's this little groove that pops in so you can slide it out and pop it out. These are UFS. So I don't know what year, it was after I left. The K2 Fatty became UFS, so they modified it so that the sole plate could accommodate the UFS standard. So it's 165 from 1 to 2, and it is a UFS K2 frame. It is a weird looking frame, if I'm being honest. It is so these are 55 millimeter wheels. It probably fits, maybe 58s. I mean, it is low. It is like a balance frame low. Yeah, maybe 58s, 50s. I mean, it's close. Even with 55s, it's close. I would be very curious what the max wheel size for this is. But these came with 55s, and they're really cool. The frame, very curiously, this H-block looks like it's kind of removable, you know? But it isn't. Like, this is a single piece. It just has this drawing, this line where the H-block is. Really curious. The skates are really clean though. So it's a black upper, blue highlights, blue carry strap in the back with the gray bottoms. They're super light. Oh my God. Like comparing these to like an Aeon. I mean, the Aeon is heavier than this for sure. Not by much. And again, this is a size 8 and my Aeons are a size 10. But still skating flat. I mean, very comparable. If anything, the K2 is a little bit lighter. Just beautiful skates. I really love them. Thank you so much for sending them. It's incredible to get these. I've never seen them before. So being a huge fan of K2 without actually skating K2s, this was a real treat to see in my mailbox this morning. All right. Before I go any further, I'm going to check the comments and see if there's any questions or clarification that I need to do. All right, going through. All right. Style points. So yeah, people were correcting me. Style points, Bob, is what the skates were called. I think I corrected myself. It does say it inside the liner. I think the Backyard Bob was a cheaper version of the Fatty. I think there was the Fatty Pro, and then there was the Backyard Bob, and that was like a cheaper version. I don't really know what the difference was. I remember those were like blue, maybe. But thank you for correcting me on that. All right, going through isn't that the suede? Frank asks. It might be the suede. I don't know. I think I looked it up on the Google, and it doesn't say it inside. I don't know. There's no marking anywhere that says what the brand. So bizarre. It's like a mystery skate. I don't know that they are the suede. I don't know that they are the canvas. It doesn't say anywhere. I'll take your word for it. When I Googled it, the only one with the black with the gray was the canvas, but I did look up the suede, and it looked, I mean, I guess it is suede. I don't know. I don't really know, but they're sure ugly. things were very different back in the 90s. I don't know what somebody was thinking about, but all right. No good questions, so I'm going to keep going and talk about my current skates. So 2 weeks ago on Gear Talk, I announced that I got a pair of rollerblade solos, and I was planning on skating them with 80 millimeter wheels to test the 80 millimeter compass wheels. The compass wheels are coming in next month, and I wanted to make sure that they felt good. You know, I had Drew and Brock sent them a set so that they could test them out, and they loved them, but I don't understand 80s. I never skated 80s before, so I wanted to give them a shot, and loved them, absolutely loved them. I think that the 80 millimeter wheel is the smallest that I would use for free skate, and it might actually be the best for free skate. I'm going to go skate my hundreds this weekend and see what I think. But really, the 4x80s is just a great size. You know, the only negative that I have about the hundreds is that I still feel a little tall. Those 80s, you know, on the rollerblade X5 frame or X whatever it was frame, it's a little taller. I mean, that frame isn't really designed for an 80, it's designed for an 84. Add to that, the frame was a little taller than it needed to be for an 84. So it was kind of like I was skating on 90s. But it felt really good. And having 4x80, it feels kind of similar to the feeling that I get when I'm on my hockey skates. And that is a great feeling. You know, I really love the feeling of ice. I love the feeling of getting out what I put in. So if I skate hard, I know that I'm going to go fast. And I get enough coast so that I feel like I'm getting something. I don't have to keep skating like if I were skating NA Rocker or something like that. You can continue to maintain your speed while you're cruising around the neighborhood. And that's a really good feeling. And with 80s, you can keep charging up to get higher speed, but it'll slowly slow down. With 100s, 110s, 125s, you're going to get a longer coast. Obviously, you know, the bigger the wheel, the more the coast you're going to get. But there's something to be said about that 80. It's a really good balance. So I absolutely loved them. I skated them twice. I skated them in Durham, and I skated them in Raleigh. And yeah, it was great. It was really great sessions. You know, I got slides down. I got really good at just skating. And, you know, I actually took them out to Apex Skate Park last weekend and skated them around the skate park, testing out my 360 camera. It's a really fun setup for a skate park because you can just skate normally. It doesn't feel like it's super tall. It's, you know, not much taller than a wish frame, which is a great setup. So I had a really good time skating there, doing slides just fine. Again, felt like I could just coast and really feel the ground when I was skating. But I wanted to try them in aggressive. So the Solo is an interesting boot. It's an aggressive boot because it comes with the sole plates. The boot, though, is also a free skate boot. It just happens to be UFS. So they used to sell them as a free skate boot. You know, it was with an aluminum frame that came with 4x84, 4x80, 4x90 even. And that was a really good balance. And I really thought that they were onto something. Unfortunately, they discontinued it, but I wanted to try them out. So I got myself a pair, and after setting them up with a free skate, I set them up with some 50-50 balance frames to test them out. So here are the USD rollerblade solos that I have for aggressive. So these are set up for aggressive. Really great skate. You know, I really liked them for just skating. The 45-degree strap, the Velcro strap up top, the way that the lacing system works, it just feels right. It feels like the way that a skate should fit on your foot. I did swap out the liner. I wasn't a fan of the blank liners. So these are the liners that came with it. These are the blank liners. And they're really beefy liners. They feel really good in your hand. The problem was two things. First of all, they're like shoes, whereas you have to lace them up. You probably don't have to. You could probably take the laces out, but they come with laces. They're designed to be laced up. I don't like lacing up my liners. I feel like it's just too much work. You know, like I'm not getting that much out of it by lacing them up. I don't know that it makes that much of a difference. Maybe it does. Maybe I'm just not good enough to notice the difference. But I didn't want to put my foot in, lace up the liner, tie it up, and then lace up my boot, and then do the 45-degree strap, and then do the top buckle. It felt like so much work, and all I wanted to do was skate. So maybe that was just me. Maybe that was, something that most people really enjoy. I didn't enjoy it. The biggest problem, though, I can overlook that. The biggest problem, though, is these liners have a built-in shock absorber thing, heel lift thing. I don't know what this is called. So the liner itself is flat. But there is this rubber, like sole of a shoe style thing that is glued onto the bottom. That's almost like a walking liner. It's so weird. Like, why would they do that? It is almost like a walking liner. Like you could use these in your USD shadows, and it would be fine. So weird. But they have this heel lift. So this is a good 15 mil at the back, which just makes me feel like I'm falling forward. And it's like, why add additional height to your heel? Like, let me do that. Let me add in an additional shock absorber. Let me add in an insole. Don't add this to the liner. Like, unless the liner is adding some shock absorption, but this material is super thick. Not thick, but hard. Like, this isn't adding much at all. It is much harder than, like, my shoes, the bottom of my shoes, which just kind of defeats the purpose. Maybe I don't understand it super well. So yeah, I swapped out these liners, and I was much happier. If you do skate solos, I would recommend trying different liners. They probably make the most make it a lot easier to skate. But the solo itself, it was okay. I don't know. I had some issues with the solo, to be honest. I felt like my Royale tricks were good. My topside tricks were good. My sole tricks were just missing for some reason. I don't know what it was. The soles seem fine, They seem like they're nice and aligned properly. They seem like they would grind great. But even when I was, I don't know. It just felt like I was falling off a lot. And I was ending up on my toe a lot. Like when you're doing a Soyale and you put all your weight on your Royale foot and you kind of tip up your toe. They used to call them like a Toyale back in the day. I'm sure there's a different name for them. But it just wasn't a good feeling. And I love sole tricks, I love locking on solid on soles. And I wasn't able to lock on solid on soles with these. Royales were fine. I didn't have any issues with Royales. Again, the top sides, I'm not very good at top sides, but I was able to do my topside tricks, so I didn't have any problems there. The problem that I did have, though, was, the sole plate just didn't feel right. So, for me, it's kind of a no. It's not my perfect skate. I am going to skate these with free skate, though. I'm going to set these up with my, where are they? Oh, my 3x100s. Oh, here they are. Nope, those aren't there. Where did I put them? Uh-oh. I have them somewhere. Oh, here they are. There's so much stuff, I can't keep track. So I'm going to set them up with these 3x100 compass wheels on the ground control tri-skate frame, the 110 tri-skate frame. I think this will be a good test. I think that the tri-skate is really cool. I think that this boot is going to work really well for it. I love the all black look. I think that's going to be really cool. Especially with I'll keep the fitty laces on, so it'll be all black. Take off the sole plates and just skate this frame. I think it's gonna be really nice. So, looking forward to doing that. So light, God, aluminum is just so nice. So I'm gonna skate these this weekend, and I'll report back. I think it's gonna be a good setup. I think that this solo boot is really fun for free skate, especially if you're looking for a UFS free skate option. I think the solo boot, or if you can find a Fusion, really great boot. It is UFS, so you can skate your ground control, you can skate your Kaiser level 3 ones, you can skate your Wish frames. You could skate your, K2 R100s or R80s. Really good boot for that. I don't know that it's great for aggressive, though. I think that if I were just buying for aggressive, I would probably stick with my USD 7. That's my aggressive setup, and that's the setup that I really, really feel like is my setup for aggressive. All right, how am I doing on time? 9:30, not bad. Looking through some comments. Sam says they were to walk in. So these liners were to walk in. I think that you're probably right. Just seems weird, right? Like, how are you going to slide your foot in? Like, you can't slide your... Like, what are you going to do? Unlace... I can't get this liner... I don't know. Like, if they were to walk in, then they should be like the shadows, right? Where they just slide it in and it's like a snowboard binding where it just uses the straps only. The fact that it has laces, like I can't get my foot in and out with these laces laced. So I have to unlace it like the whole way. That just seems like I don't know. Very strange liners. I don't quite understand them, but I would be really curious to hear. And I would add, if they were designed to walk in, why did they add a shock absorber inside the boot? Huh? I don't know. It's like double shock absorbers. And there's a bigger shock absorber in the insole in the liner. It's just so much leaning forward. Like, guys, calm down. You don't need to lean forward that much. I don't know. I might be old and grumpy. Mr. Self-Destruct, do you see the Fitty Fitty frames ever coming stock on an aggressive boot out of the box? How would that work, and who initiates a deal like that? It's a good question. I probably don't see that happening. Thinking back the last few years, the only frames that have come out of the box that I know of are the Roman Upright skates with the Cultic frames. That is probably the one-off. But you know what? Between me and Wish, who else makes frames? Just frames. Me, Wish. I mean, Wizard, like, not aggressive, right? Sola, like, that would be the only exception, I think, unless I'm not thinking of someone. The problem is that it's a matter of margins, So frames obviously don't cost me $60, I make money on the frames. Shops selling them make money on the frames. So if you were to buy a off-the-shelf setup, right? So you buy yourself a Them 908, $200. You buy yourself a pair of balance frames, $60. You buy a set of 8 Fitty Fitty wheels, right? $80. What, you're at $340 already? And then bearings, off the shelf. I mean, $35 for mine. You're almost at $400. That's an expensive skate, and I don't know that makes sense to everyone. When we were doing OEM deals, so it's the acronym is OEM, Original Equipment Manufacturer. When we were doing OEM deals back in the days, like with USD, USD would get great deals on our frames. We would sell them a little bit above cost because we wanted to make sure that we made enough. I mean, they were selling 2,000 sets of boots at a time. So, even if we made a couple bucks on them, we could pay our writer and we could, get some money out of it. And it wasn't a lot of work for us. So we were able to just, here you go. Like, we want this deal. So we're going to make a few bucks on this. And we want to, advertise and get the frames out there and get people to skate them and stuff like that. And that worked okay for a while. But, it just didn't make enough money. I think that the price point of skates were higher for pro models with third-party frames. And I think that USD realized that, and that's why they started Kaiser. And they started making Kaiser frames. And Kaiser frames were great. They were really good frames. Same with ground control. Razor started ground control, and they were like, these were great frames. Why would we need a third party when we already have a great frame that's coming stock on a skate? And you can argue that, yeah, there are reasons. We could definitely make a better frame. We could make a different frame. We could provide an option, especially if there's a pro skate for a rider who's skating on a brand who, wants their frame that they like on the boot that they like. And it might not be a ground control frame. It might not be a Kaiser frame. It might not be a Seba frame, right? So there's ways around it, but the problem is it all has to make sense financially. And I feel like Razors or USD, who are probably the two companies most keen to do it, want all the margins that they can make. While I would sell, a pair of frames, a pair of 50/50 frames to USD for a great price, they could still get them cheaper if they were Kaiser frames because they didn't have to buy them from somebody, right? They probably already have a ton of them in store. That's why you see so many Featherlight 3s out there. Razors probably makes a ton of different Featherlight 3s, and they make, great margins on them, right? So they don't have to pay that, 50/50 frame money. They can just do, because it's in-house, they can pay for their own. And they don't have to spend a ton of money on their own, So yeah, I think that it all just boils down to margins. I don't think that there's any negativity. I loved having the 50/50 frames on skates. I thought it was a really cool thing, especially for the riders who loved those frames. And I think that Roman getting a Pro USD with a Pro Caltic frame, really cool. I hope that there's more of those, if not with 50/50, with Caltic, with Wish, with anybody else. I think that there's a market for it. And I think that people wouldn't mind spending a little bit more if they knew that the rider was getting a bigger royalty and if they knew that this was actually the pro skate that they wanted. USD really pioneered that by having the pro setup. They had the Julio that came with the 50/50 frames and the Cosmo wheels, which was ridiculous. Let's see, the initial Petties came, or the Arlos came with Senate wheels and Senate frames. There's definitely a history in having pro models. I just think that the numbers are so much smaller now that in order to make their margins, they need to have most of the production happen in-house. I don't know if that's always going to be. I like to think that there's a bright future where we can have pro models again. But yeah, it's going to take a little time, I think. Question from Frank. Do you have or have you seen anything about Intuition ski boot liners fitting into blades? I know Joey had a setup like that. I have. If you look at some of the old mushroom blading videos, you'll see Joey skating with red liners. Those red liners, I believe, Joey, keep me honest, the red liners, I believe, are the ski liners. It's definitely a possibility. Ooh, is it a good idea? I know you like tall cuffs, so maybe it is a good idea for some people. I think for most people, though, they don't want that. So I wouldn't recommend it, but I don't see why it wouldn't work. I think that a ski liner is the same as a skate liner. There's probably different padding in different places, probably a different height. Again, I don't skate Intuition liners. I don't know super well. What I know about them is that they're high quality and they're super thin. That's probably something that skiers need as well. So I would imagine that they're a very similar style. If the liner is a little taller, then maybe it's better for skiing if it's taller. I honestly don't know. But I know that Joey's experimented with it and has done it. So I would definitely reach out to Joey and get some more confirmation, but I don't see why it wouldn't work. It's a liner. Probably fits just the same in a ski boot as it would a skate boot. Just different areas of support. All right. A couple things I haven't talked about. So first of all, this shirt. So this shirt came in yesterday. So this is a Manly Bowl old school skate jam shirt. Couldn't be happier to have supported the first annual, hoping that there's a second, Manly Bowl old school comp. I don't know what they called it, but it's more like a session than a comp. I think there was some prizes that were handed out. I know I sent some frames down there to get handed out, and I know that the guy that won them hit me up and was super, super stoked to get them. So this was sent to me by Scott Crawford. It was printed by Tom Fry. Don't be jealous. Printed by Tom Fry. Again, so happy to be able to support that competition, that session. So there was this was last month in Sydney at Manly Bowl, which is one of the epic inline spots down in Sydney. VG6, it was all over. An amazing weekend. So there were skaters. Australia used to be a really huge part of the skate scene. And it still arguably is. It's where CJ, hangs out. It's where Dom West lives now. And, you see Vine Street, the video series, come out of there. There's some incredible skaters down there. It's an amazing scene, and it seems like a very close, community style scene. So Scotty came back a couple years ago, pretty heavy, and really wanted to do something to give back. And if you haven't already listened to him on the Jump Street podcast, he recorded a podcast with who it was, Austin and John, when they were down there for the Manly Bowl comp. And it was the three of them, goes, for an hour and a half, hour, 50 minutes or so. I'm about halfway through it. I think it just dropped today, maybe yesterday. Highly recommend it, though, if you're trying to get some information about the history of Australian skating and a different perspective. We kind of see our perspective, but seeing it through the eyes of an old pro, two old pros, John and Scott, who have been friends for many, many years. They've hung out countless times on tour and stuff. It's really great to listen to. Highly recommend it. Scott's an amazing guy, and he is an amazing skater. Anything that he needs help with, I'm obviously going to support. He was in the same boat, wanted to support 50-50 when he knew that I was coming back. He's been nothing but great. He's helping me test the wheels. Amazing guy. So I couldn't be happier to get this t-shirt. It's something that I'm going to wear not too often. I'm going to kind of hold on to it just because I kind of love that it's just a thing that Tom Fry made, to be honest. I was a huge Tom Fry fanboy back in the days. Do you guys remember that box ad where he shaved himself into a male pattern baldness? He was doing it up front side on some loading dock or something like that. See if I can find a picture. Anyway, couldn't be happier. Thanks, Scotty, for sending this out. He also sent this little care package with some stickers that I wanted to show you. So I wasn't expecting this, but it's a little Ziploc bag from Goliath brand, which kind of looks like our, not Ziploc, I don't know what brand it would be, but it's a similar looking brand. I wonder who owns Goliath. But anyway, so I'm going to go through some stickers and show you some of the old stickers that Scotty sent me. So cool. So first of all, this K2 shiny sticker. I don't know. This is so cool. It's a K2 night tonight. I'm talking all about K2. The Senate flag, backwards flag sticker. It's backwards flag sticker. I don't remember when this one came out. This was a weird logo. It wasn't like one of their more corporate logos. It was something that I think they just put on a t-shirt. Super cool, though. I don't know this logo. Does anybody know this logo? Tell me in the comments if you know this logo. It's a red and white outline. I think it's a thermal transfer style sticker. I don't know it. I might be even holding it upside down. So if you know it, let me know in the comments. Oh, who knows this one? This was the old Crank Straps logo. The hand holding the thing. This was an Australian brand of 45-degree straps. Can you believe that? How cool. And another Crank Straps. Oh, this is not Crank. This is Crank the magazine or video, I think. Different altogether. All right, another K2 sticker. See if we can find some more cool ones. Oosh. Some Cosmo stickers. So this is the Cosmo. I don't know which one this was. This was just a generic Cosmo sticker, I think. Just has the 3 UFOs blasting down to pick up somebody, and it says next 5 kilometers. The John Julio sticker, I remember having this one and rocking it. I love this one. This is the one with John in front of a city, in front of a fire hydrant with headphones on, like hip-hop headphones. Super, super cool. A couple more cool Cosmo stickers. These are like thick ones. A couple more K2 stickers. Oh, this one. So this was the Cosmo. This was actually one of the ones that I think was on Manuel Belarus wheels, where the aliens, dancing and stuff on the rings of Saturn. Super cool. K2, the barcode, Cosmo barcode sticker. So this is their anti-rocker wheel, which was a 54, I think. No, was it a 52? Somebody tell me. 52, 54? I don't remember. Jethro. Who remembers Jethro? So these are Jethro stickers. I remember Scotty skated for Jethro. Jethro was a Daily Bread clothing company. And Angie, and I don't know who else made Jethro, but definitely was really cool. It had a really good team, too. Manly Blades sticker. Manly Blades, formerly Manly Blades, now Skater HQ. So Mikey Lynch and company down there, Mikey actually is podcast who supports Bill, but Bill is a great guy, old Manly Blade sticker. I don't know where this one came from. Dare to Air sticker. Oh my goodness. So Dare to Air, if you don't know, now you know. The old Dare to Air, the first aggressive video that I ever saw. The first aggressive video there was, I think. Fishbrain himself, Tom Fry. Beautiful Tom Fry sticker. I used to have this on my helmet. And this was actually a 50-50 sticker. So this wasn't a Cosmo sticker. This was a 50-50 logo. And our friend, what was his name? Ooh, I forget. But he was a DJ. He did this artwork. He lived in Laguna Beach. And he was actually the DJ on the England clothing ad. If you guys remember the England clothing ad where there's a DJ wearing England clothing and scratching. God, what was his name? Ugh, I can't remember. But he did this logo. He did all of the old 50-50 logos. Brilliant artist. Such a great style. And then plenty of awesome Cosmo standard stickers. These are the best. These are the ones that everybody had back in the days. Just the Cosmo alien holding this hourglass with a wheel. Super cool. All right, while we catch up, I'm going to run inside and get the last thing for tonight. I forgot it. I'll be right back. Talk amongst yourselves. All right, that didn't take long. I'm back. I'm probably not going to edit that out. Ugh. So here I am. All right. And the live stream hasn't even caught up. I got here before the live stream. If I could, I would just edit it out and jump to the other one, but I can't. All right, going through. Barcodes were 50 millimeter. Wow, I forgot about that. 50 millimeter 85A. Paul Wright. Good call. Who said that? Mark? Who gets first credit? Paul Wright. Paul Wright. Where is that? Oh, who said Paul Wright? Totally right. Where the heck is it? Oh, I can't find it. He's definitely Paul Wright. Oh, there it is. Yeah. Paul Wright. Denzes. Yes, you're absolutely right. Paul Wright is the man. I don't know who said it first. Maybe the message got redacted, but yes, Paul Wright. He was the DJ. Amazing artist. He did all of the old 50-50 logos, especially the ones on the t-shirt. Smart dude. Really, really great guy. And skateboarded. He had a ramp at his house in Laguna. And if you remember, there was a green ramp that you might have seen, maybe a John Julio shot, early England ad that they shot there. Really, really cool. Very like Laguna, had a lot of trees and flowers and stuff like that. It's just a beautiful place. So that's Laguna. All right. Last segment before I take some questions. If you have questions, feel free to queue them up now. Yes, so 50/50 is making backpacks again. I couldn't be more happy. It has been a serious quarter. So not only did we bring in the yellow frames, so the yellow frames came in last week. I've got the 50/50 wheels in production, so they should be here in the beginning of next month. This week, I got the first production bag of the first run of 50/50 backpacks for 2019. So I'm going to show it to you and see what you think. All right, zip it up, make it look all pretty. This is the bag. So yeah, it's so great. Such a great backpack. So a little history about the bag. So I actually designed this back in 99, maybe 2000. This was something that Jess and I were doing, we were doing judging for the ASA. And, we were traveling a lot and we needed a skate bag. And this was right around the time when Senate was coming out with the bags, but they were really the only bag company in town. And we told ourselves, what if 50/50 made a bag? We're a hardware company. We should have a backpack that you could put all of your hardware in. So we started designing a bag, and we were like, well, what would it do? How would it fit? And, we took all the measurements, and we kind of put our measurements around our hardware. So this front pocket was actually the right size for a pair of frames. These pockets were the size for hardware and stuff like that. Like it was a good size for hardware. This size was for a CD player on top. The side pockets were for water bottles and stuff. We really had thought of everything with this, and it was just an amazing bag. We sold a lot of these back in the days, and when I came back, one of the things that people were really excited about was they saw me using this bag, and they were like, "How can I get one of those bags? Where's the bag? I have this one." So this is my original bag. This is actually, I might be wrong, but I think this is one of the original, definitely the first production run. It might even be the first sample of the 50/50 bag. So this was the one that we initially made. And this has lasted me 20 years. I mean, this is an old ass bag. But it is so solid, so good. Absolutely, rock solid bag, no issues whatsoever. One of the zippers got stuck. That's the only issue that I've had with this bag. So we started looking at remaking this bag and making it into something that was a little more modern. This bag served us really well, but there were a few things that we wanted to tweak to make it a little easier on your body and make it better. I don't just use this bag for skating anymore. I want to be able to use this bag for everything. So a couple of tweaks that we've made to the first production run. I'll go through everything. So the first is we took everything down a little bit. So this intersection, so I'll walk you through the whole bag. This intersection was just a place where you could just throw all your crap. This is a weekend bag. This isn't a go out to a quick session and come back bag. You could definitely use it for that, and I do. But this is really designed to accommodate things for a weekend. So if you're going to Woodward for a weekend, bring this bag, that's all you need. This inside section, so it's 12 inches wide and it's 9 inches deep. We actually cut this down in the new bag. So it's not as deep as it was. So this one was a huge, huge bucket. This new one is down to 6 inches. So it's still plenty big. But we wanted to make it a little bit more streamlined. We wanted to make it so that it wasn't sticking out so far in your back. This is more like, you could fit, a bunch of clothes and stuff. You could probably fit just as much stuff. A little bit less probably, but I mean, nobody needs that much stuff. This is enough for a weekend. So now it's 12 by 6. It's wide enough to fit vinyl records if you wanted to fit vinyl records, if you're into that sort of thing. But it's definitely good for fitting an overnight bag. Sorry, overnight clothes. Like for a weekend, you could throw your stuff in here for, change of clothes, extra pair of pants. You could throw your pads in there. You could throw anything you want in there. The reason why we took it down as well is when it sits upright. So this one sits really nicely. The problem that we had with the old bag was that as it sat up, it would just kind of collapse upon itself. You can see it's kind of doing it right now. It doesn't sit up. It always extends out. And we wanted to take it in a little bit and give it a little bit more support. So there's more support on the side walls. It's a little narrower, and it's not going to fall in on itself. While we were at it, we also took in some of the pockets. So these pockets were huge. Like you could fit a ton of stuff in here. I think it's an inch deep. Each of these is an inch deep. This is an inch deep. I think these are an inch high. We took those in as well. So it's the same style, but it's now down to a 1/2 inch. So it's still big enough to fit, your keys or your phone or whatever you wanted in there. But it's not super, super big. It doesn't have to be. We really wanted to make an update to it that made sense. And I think this is the right way to do it. This front pocket. So this front pocket was designed for putting frames in. I don't know that anybody ever actually did. I think it still fits frames. So if you wanted to fit a flat setup or, a second setup, you could put your frames in here. I don't know if anybody ever did though. So we kind of killed that. You could fit your selfie stick in there. You could fit, a tripod in there. That's the sort of stuff that I put in there now. So if I go out filming, I'll put my camera gear in here, my little GoPro, my selfie stick, my little detachable tripod for my cell phone. That's what this pocket is for me now. It's got the little hook in front so that you could strap your helmet into it. Super easy, just loop, nothing crazy, but you just strap your helmet in, click it in, and you're good. This top section actually was designed for a CD player back in the days. You can see we got rid of the, there was a little hole on the side back in the days so that you could stick the headphones in, but everybody's got Bluetooth headphones now, so we actually got rid of the hole. This is just a nice little extra pocket up top that you can put your cell phone in. I put my glasses in when I skate. You put your wax in there. You can put anything you want in there. It's just a nice little storage pocket. And then on the back, so a couple things that we did on the side actually. This pocket is still the same size. You just fit your cell phone in there. You could fit your glasses in there. You could put whatever you want in there. This one we expanded, so this is a much bigger pocket now. This is like for a full-size water bottle. So you could just fit a full water bottle in there. For whatever reason, when we designed this, we made both of them the same size. So you couldn't really fit anything in here. This is not big enough for a water bottle. Now you can definitely fit a water bottle in there, and it's going to be really nice. These skate holders work really well. So they strap up so that they stay secure when you're not using them. With the Velcro, you just strap them like that, pop, pop, and then they'll stay seated. When you put your skates on, though, you undo them like this. You put your skate in. I'll grab the skate. You put your skate in, and you strap it up. Pop. And then this one loosens a little bit. Get around and get the strap. Pop. Loosen it a little bit. Oh, it's hard when it's on me. There it goes. Usually it's easier because it's all the way up. Pop. There. I won't tighten it, but you can see how it works. So that'll sit on the sides. Easy to take off, easy to put on. and then you could wear it if you want. We wanted to make it super easy to get your skates on and off. Don't need to go into any special pockets or using like the old Senate bags, you slide them in and stuff like that. That just seemed like a little overkill. So we just wanted an easy way that you could hold them on the outsides. Works really well, nothing special. And then in the back, it has a laptop section. So you unbuckle these two, which keep the bag supported. And there's a nice padded section back here for up to a 15-inch laptop. So really you could use this for anything. I love it. I use it for skating. When I go traveling, I use it. This is the only bag that I bring. This is my carry-on and everything. If I need, a week, if I'm bringing product or something like that, I'll bring a suitcase. But really, there's not much else that you need in a backpack. Absolutely love it. First production sample, a couple little tweaks that we're going to make to it, but nothing major. I think that we're really, really happy with them. And they're in production. So pre-orders probably start next month. Excuse me. We're waiting on confirmation on when production is finished. So I'm not going to set up pre-orders until I know. They say that they should be shipping first week of May from the factory, which means that they'll be in my warehouse first week of June. Realistically, though, I think that's like mid-June. So I want to know for sure before I start putting up pre-orders. We will have some special prizes for pre-orders. I'm only bringing in a little over 100 bags. Again, this is a test just to see if there is a market for bags out there. They will be $80 in stores, which is probably a pretty good price compared to the other bags that are out there right now, especially bags with this much functionality. I think $80 is a fair price. It's costing me a lot more this time than it did last time. So the margins aren't as high for me as I wanted, but I'm not complaining. I want to make sure that I can bring the bags out there at a reasonable price. I don't mind not making a ton of money on them, just so that I can bring them out. And then hopefully I can get that price down as I start making more. But yeah, their minimums are pretty high for me just to come out. And I don't know what the future holds for bags, but I hope that you, if you like one, you will plan on getting one. Again, they should be out in June, maybe July, it's hard to say, but I think that production will be done in May, and they take about a month to get here. So fingers crossed that everything goes smooth with production. I'll start pre-orders after production is done and they leave on the boat. There's a lot of pallets coming. They are big. So I will let you know as soon as they are. I will keep updating you on Gear Talk. We're probably about 3 to 4 weeks out, but I will keep you updated. So thank you all for asking for them. These are the sort of things that if people ask enough, I know that there's enough demand out there that I can actually look into making them. I am taking a risk on these bags. Bringing in 100 or so bags is a lot. I don't have that much space in my garage, so I hope that they sell well. The shops that I've shown it to are pretty happy with it, though. I don't think there's many bags out there, and they want variety. I think that the price point is good, and I think that it's a great bag. I mean, bottom line is it just does exactly what you would expect it to do. It holds all the stuff that you need for skating. It's multi-purpose, so you could use it for school, you could use it while you're traveling with your skates. It's really just that perfect compromise of all the things. So super excited about them. Thanks for asking. And they should be here in June. Fingers crossed. All right. So before I call it, I'm going to go through and check if there are any questions or comments. Again, everybody, thank you for tuning in tonight to watch me ramble. There really hasn't been a lot of gear. Nothing new, no huge topics or anything that I've been talking about, mostly just show and tell. I actually have more skates coming, so people have been sending me skates. And again, I absolutely love it. Thank you so much for sending them to me. but it keeps me busy. You know, I'm going to have to add another layer. So I have this whole layer now is rollerblade. So I got the downtowns, I got the suedes or the canvas, I got the new jacks, I got the Patron. What am I missing? That's really it from the big ones. And then for K2, I've got these kid skates that you probably can't see. I've got the 250s, I've got the Style Points Bob, and I've got the Fatty Pro UFS. So I've got way too many rollerblade and K2 skates. I do have other skates that are on the ground that I just don't have room for it. I have more K2 skates even. Oh my god, I gotta make room for more K2 skates. There's just not enough room. So I need another wall down here maybe. I don't have much room up top. Maybe I can put some more room up top. That might be the right answer. Anyway, let me go through the comments and see if anybody has any questions. Eduardo, question. I'd love to hear how your wheels compare to undercover wheels. So I am not sure which wheels you're talking about. If you're talking about compass wheels are very similar to undercover. I think they kind of fit that middle ground between undercover and rollerblade hydrogen. So I've had a few people skate them and test them, and they say that the wear is probably similar to undercover, which is a good feeling because undercover are expensive, but they're great. I think that, and I always recommend undercover wheels. I think undercover wheels are amazing. Undercover is a really good mix of long-lasting durability and performance, and I think that is what the compass wheels have hit. They are more responsive than the rollerblade hydrogen, but probably not as long-lasting as a comparable durometer undercover wheel. So I think that is kind of in the middle, and it's priced in the middle. So if you got a 6-pack of hydrogen 100s, I think it'll cost you $60, something like that. I screwed up the numbers. I don't remember where the pricing is. I know the hydrogens are a little cheaper, and I know that the undercovers are a little more expensive. I think that the compass wheels are kind of right in the middle. So they're in the middle of price, they're in the middle of performance. If you're looking to save money, definitely get the hydrogens. I love hydrogen wheels. These are hydrogen 110s, and I skated them a lot. They've still got a ton of life left. These are great wheels. I think that you will really like them. I think that these wheels are, this core is really strong. I don't know about this. I never had any issues with this core. This compass core is super strong, really good for slides, really durable, and it's all black. I mean, it looks cool. So if you're buying them just strictly on performance, I think they're all very comparable. If you're buying them for looks, you have your own judgment. You can figure out which ones you like the best. If you're looking for all black, I mean, I love the way that these wheels look. Like an all black compass wheel is just really cool. But anyway, I think they compare very favorably. I think that they're right in the middle. If you were putting undercover at the best and you were putting hydrogen not at the best, compass is kind of in the middle. It has a lot of the good characteristics and some of the bad characteristics of both of the wheels, so it kind of fits right in the middle. If you're asking about 50-50 wheels, it's really hard to tell right now. I've only skated them a couple times. The wear was good, but trying to find an 85 in an aggressive profile is really difficult. So I think that it's going to be unique as an 85A 58 millimeter wheel. I think that the profile is going to be really unique as a rounded bullet profile. And I think that, they're really great. They're really great wheels. I'm bummed out that I don't have them. I had to skate the Dead wheels this weekend, anti-rocker. Nothing against Dead. I think that they're great wheels, but it was a shock going from an 85A flat setup to a 90A, 92A anti-rocker setup. It's hard to go back to anti-rocker after skating flat. it's just not as much fun. So I highly recommend that you get them when they come out. At least get yourself a set to test and see what you think. You can always sell them on Blade Trade if you don't like them. But they're going to be great wheels. I think people are going to really like them. And I think the 85A, having soft wheels is a really great feeling. And there haven't been very many soft wheels out there for you to try. It's worth giving them a try to see if they're for you. Chuck, I think you're talking about the weight distribution for the bag. It's hard to tell without me wearing it. It is more. So the weight when the skates sit on, it's a fairly balanced weight. And the problem that we had with the old one was that because it was so big, sometimes the bag would kind of tilt back, so you would sit and the bag would kind of fall back so that the back of it would fall off. That isn't a problem anymore with the way that the skate holders are. It's more of a centered alignment. The skates do come a little further out than they used to, but that gives it a much better distribution of weight. And the fact that it's not so wide in the back, so deep in the back, makes it so that it's a little more narrow and form fits to your back a little bit more. I haven't worn it very much though, so I would have to actually take it, on a plane trip and, walk around with it to really feel what it feels like. Again, this is a production sample, but that was the goal of it. It's definitely improved from the old ones, and I don't think we ever had any complaints about the old ones, but there were things that we personally just wanted to tweak. We being Jess and I, Jess helped me with the design of the bag, that we wanted to tweak to make it an even better bag. Can I put 2 skates in the bag? I can try. I don't know if they're going to fit. Skates are not really designed to go in here. Let me find these fatties. I don't want to mess those up. Let me get these new jacks. These are big new jacks. All right, so here's one in with the frame in. Here's the other. Hey, there you go. So you would probably want to take the, depending on the skate, you would probably want to take the wheels off. But it sure looks like it. Could zip up. I don't want to break the zippers. I would probably take the frames off if you were doing that. You might even be able to find a better way to fit them in, like do something like this maybe. I don't know. They're definitely close. It's not really designed to fit that way, but you do you. Maybe if I did this and this. Nah, that was the right way. You could see that there's plenty of room inside them. Oh, there it goes. Try it this way. Yeah, if you fit them just the standard way, so wheels down and then cuff down, that's probably the best way to do it. You could probably zip this up. I'm not going to try, but it looks like the zipper is pretty close. Again, this is a size 10.5 new jack, so it's pretty high. If you took the frames off though, and then put the frames in a little frame pouch, I'm sure you could be fine with just putting them in the bag if you wanted to. Do bags fit as a carry-on on the plane? Maybe even personal item size. I don't know what a personal item is, but I know that when I went on my flight coming back from California, I had a carry-on, so an actual rolling suitcase. Sorry, this was Jesse. I had an actual rolling suitcase that was carry-on sized, and I used this as a personal item. And I had my skates on the side, and I had the bag, this bag, which is the bigger one, full of frames. Like I had boxes and boxes of frames in here because I had just came back from Blading Cup, and I had all of these old sample frames that I was trying to haul back, and I didn't have enough room in my suitcase. So this bag was super heavy, and I didn't have any problems. So I think that they are counted as a carry-on. You can strap your helmet to the front, put the skates on the side, no problems. I haven't had any issues. Rick, I have a gear question on the new USD Shadow Trimax. Can the cuff be swapped out for the fluid cuff? Or can the Velcro be replaced with a buckle strap? You know what? I sent my Shadows over to Brent this week, so I don't have them here. If I remember correctly, yes, you can swap out the cuff and the strap, but I don't know for sure. I bet you could. I don't know why you couldn't. So I would definitely say yes. Ramon, thanks for the concern about the fire. Yeah, it was ridiculous today. So thankfully I don't work in Durham. I actually work in a city, a couple cities away. I live in Durham, South Durham though. So that there was an explosion today. There was a gas fire, and a business is no longer there. Like exploded. There were some injuries and deaths. The whole area has been just shut down. It's horrible. So this is, if you saw me, where was a good one? There was a video where I was testing out the Trimax, not the Trimax, but the Tri-Skate for ground control a couple years ago. And I skated around downtown Durham. There's a school that has these blue handrails that Shredpool was skating, and there's a ledge in the back. That school is right across the street from where the incident happened. It is maybe a block away from that famous 10'8" bridge that trucks always try to go under, but they're too low. They're too tall to go under it, and they, like a can opener, take off the top of the truck. That area, that's where that explosion was. It's probably about 4 blocks away from the skate park, and it's miles away from where I live. My wife used to work downtown, so it would have been a lot closer. She would have definitely been impacted by the event today, but thankfully everything seems to be under control. So sad, it was the 150th year that Durham was a city, so it's like their 150th anniversary. And they had all these celebration events planned, and it all turned into celebrating the first responders, It sucks. Condolences to everybody who has lost a loved one today. Like some random explosion, gas explosion, and it just takes out a whole city block, basically. Yeah, life is precious, but we are fine. Thank you for the concern. Everything's fine here. I don't have anybody who was impacted. I have a couple of people who work in the area who had to go home, but other than that, yeah, everything is fine. Eduardo, compass wheels definitely will ship to Brazil. I hope that we can get through customs. I know that it's difficult in Brazil sometimes. Hit me a message, and I will do what I can to get them down there for you, though. Would absolutely love to ship to Brazil, and I do international deals to help with pricing and stuff so that we can make it work for both of us. So hit me a message. Chuck, Razor's Cosmo with shift sole plates, just as good as shift 2. I don't know. I think so. I think the liner's different on the Cosmo. The Shift 2 comes with the rain liner. I think the Cosmo came with the standard liner. I don't know that there's a Cosmo 2. So I also like the 45-degree buckle in the middle. I think that's a huge add, and it makes the boot better, especially for skating big wheels. But I don't know that there's any other difference. I just don't know. I haven't seen the Cosmos in person, and I haven't skated the Razor's Shift 2. All right. I think I'm good. Yes, the bag will definitely fit in the overhead compartment. No problems there. Absolutely love it. A few tweaks just to make sure that it's perfect, but it's in production now, so I don't know how much I can tweak, but we will keep making them. You know, so long as you guys like them, I'm going to keep making them. I think it's great to have a bag. I love being a hardware company. I love making gear, and you know, the more stuff that I can make that's tuned to the way that I do things, the better. So this bag definitely is one of those things. Anyway, thank you all for joining. My voice is going, so I'm going to stop talking. Again, I do this every 2 weeks, Wednesday nights, 9 o'clock on the YouTube. So please, if you have a chance, would love to see you in the comments. Ask questions, leave positive reinforcement, or correct me if I'm wrong. Whichever, just want you to be part of this. So I'll see you guys in 2 weeks, and get out there and skate. Have fun.